Good evening, everyone. I am Mark, your fat friend,
And I'm James, your black friend.
and this is the Fat and Black Connection.
There we go. Where we talk about anything and everything. Well, as long as it's interesting to us.
Absolutely. And speaking of interesting, we've got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
Uh, we've got stuff that I'm going to talk about for a little bit because you suck. Um, we've got some stuff that we'll talk about that'll be a lot of fun. So do stick around. We're going to be talking about Indiana Jones 5 or Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. We're going to be talking about Secret Invasion,
Yep.
episodes 1 through 3, which 3 dropped today. So hopefully you're caught up. And, if not, then, when we get to talking about episode 3, you can
Yeah.
scoot for a moment. But, anyways, James, I can see that you clearly have a tasty beverage in your hand. What do you got there?
Yes. I had the Simply lemonade ones. They came out with Simply Peach
Okay.
recently, and this is Simply Mango Peach.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
And of
So,
course, we've got Tyrus checking in. Welcome back.
oh, that was a nice one. That was a good one right there.
Nice crack. And you know what would go really good with that drink is if you happen to have a Fat and Black Connection whiskey glass.
Oh,
Could
yeah.
pour,
I like that.
could pour that on the rocks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these are good.
So for me, I went to a party over the weekend at a nice couple's house, and there were these beers there that I tried, and it's called Club Columbia Maestria Cerveza Serra Dorado Golden Lager, and it's smaller. It's only 11.15 fluid ounces, and I don't think it has an alcohol amount on here. Oh, there we go, 4.7. So I had a few of these before, and they were quite delicious to the point where I stole some from the party. Well, look, I was one of the last people at the party, and the cooler was still filled with them, so that meant to me that they were up for grabs.
Yeah, sure. You know, you, hey, I'm gonna cool if I grab a couple of these.
Oh, I should have asked, I guess, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, maybe, but
Oops.
yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, so we took last week off.
Live, learn, loves. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, we took last week off, right? Because I guess we should do a little bit of an update with where we are. And Murphy's Inc.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, James and I are the executive producers on the show uh,
Right.
with 97 to Now Productions.
Of course.
And we started recording a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
and we finally wrapped on principal recording for episode 1 through 4.
Yep.
There's one scene that we still need to catch, but I wasn't going to make actors come in for one scene. That seemed kind of silly.
Yeah.
So we are starting this Friday. We'll be recording episodes 5 through 9.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, and for this arc, you have a pretty significantly large part.
Yeah.
So you have a couple different recording sessions you have to be at.
Yeah, I have like 3.
Where last go round it was just the one, right?
Was it just? Yeah, I think it was just the one. Yeah.
As an actor, it was just,
Yeah. No, that's what I was trying. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, was it just? Yeah, it was just the one where I was acting. Yeah.
yeah. And then in regards to the episodes after that, which will be 10 through 13, we're almost done finalizing those from a script perspective. They're like this close, and we'll get to recording those after we finish this next round.
And
So
then we only have 2 more after that, right?
2 more episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be 15 episodes, and looks like the first episode, the date got moved up a little bit. So,
Again, or what we previously talked about?
well, we haven't announced it here on the show.
Oh,
So-
I'm just talking about what we talked about.
No, we talked about it moving up already.
Yeah.
But here announcing on the show, Murphy's Inc. season 2 will air 15 consecutive weeks starting August 27th.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that will take us all the way through into December.
December.
And I think the 15th episode is on the 3rd, if I remember correctly, December 3rd.
All right. Are
It's
we
either
doing
the 3rd or the 10th. So
hey, I was just thinking about it. Are we gonna do Podmas again?
are we gonna do Podmas? I don't know. Did you enjoy it last year? Would you
I
want
thought
to do it again?
I thought it was fun, and it could be something. I mean, we don't have to. I was just thinking, like it could be if we, I don't know, if we make it a tradition or something.
I'm not against it, and I already know what I would get you. I'd get you your very own Fab C Hawaiian shirt
Yeah,
because you don't have one currently.
not right. I'm working on getting. I want to get. There's a couple things I want to get.
And there's plenty more things that I'd be happy to design. So
Yeah, we gonna. I think we should get a holiday collection.
I do think that there are like Christmas ornaments, stuff like that
Yeah.
you can do. So shifting gears a little bit out of Murphy's Inc. So keep your ears open. Murphy's Inc. is coming. It is
eyes and ears because you'll have to
Yes.
see it, and then you'll have to listen to it.
Yeah, it is coming. It's going to be good. I'm really excited for this season. I think we've really outdone ourselves compared to season 1. So
Oh, I mean, by far.
yeah. So recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've talked about a couple of different items from a food perspective, and I thought I would try a couple of them tonight and a couple more next week. And tonight, I'm going to start with the mac and cheese gummies.
Okay, yikes! You did find them.
So these are by Frankfurt.
Yeah.
It says Kraft macaroni and cheese
Yeah.
gummies, gummy candy, artificially flavored, and then it has the weight. And on the backside, it has the nutritional facts, but nowhere does it say
What the flavor is?
the flavor should be. It is sealed for my safety, so that's good.
Yeah, thank God.
So let's crack her open, shall we? And okay, so inside it's a pouch,
No milk necessary.
and you. Oh my gosh, this is. Okay, here we go. All right. It smells like gummies. All right, let's see. Let's take one out. Okay, so you can see it's kind of a curved piece. Looks like it's a mac and cheese noodle.
What does it
elbow
smell
noodle.
like? What does it smell like?
It smells like, you know those candy peanuts that you get that are disgusting that nobody actually wants to eat, but
I mean, like the Boston beans and stuff.
no, the ones that are like they are shaped like a peanut in the shell and they're pink, but they're like
Oh yeah, those gross ones. Yeah.
So it kind of smells like that mixed with like a citrus.
Okay.
Let's see what it tastes like.
Yeah.
So they're very chewy.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the flavor. It is a citrusy flavor. Like maybe I had heard maybe it was a tangerine flavor. Quasi. It's not bad, but it's not good.
Oh, while you're getting that, I'm gonna grab my own gummies. Hold on.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to eat through these now. Let's see. What does James have? Sour Patch Kids or gummy worms?
Yeah.
What do you got there?
So Winco has the bag, the bins, and so I got me a big old bag of Peachos
Nice.
to go along with.
Matt Murray is checking in.
What's up, Matt?
We haven't heard from him in a while. Well,
Yeah, where you been, bro? Oh,
and
well,
of course,
he's on summer vacation now.
of course, Tyrus would say this, right? Circus peanuts are good. Get the hell out of here.
That man is.
Then again, I like black licorice, and get the hell out of here with that.
Ugh, you like black licorice, bro? You like
All right.
Ugh, yeah, no.
So I've got something else too.
What else you got, bro?
Churro Kit Kat.
Oh, Yo, speaking of churros, you sent me that place.
I sent you a link to the
Yeah,
churro shop or whatever.
yeah, I'm gonna go check that out. I'm gonna go check that out next week and grab some before the show.
Okay, good, good. So this is what the churro Kit Kat looks like. So it is that brownish beigeish
Yeah,
Kit Kat color or churro color.
churro color. Yeah,
It smells like a churro
yeah. It's got that cinnamon sugar smell.
for sure.
Yeah.
It tastes it tastes more like a. You ever had the brown sugar, cinnamon brown sugar Pop Tart?
Of course I have.
It tastes more like that.
Okay. Yo, I hope actually, speaking of Pop Tarts, I hope they come back out with the pumpkin pie Pop Tarts this year.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, they were actually really good, bro. Like especially like warmed up. Oh man.
I'll take your word on it.
Oh, you don't like
I'm not one of those pumpkin people.
oh,
I
you
like
don't like
pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, I like pumpkin pie.
I'll eat pumpkin seeds all day, but I'm not a fan of pumpkin pie. I don't like pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, well, I don't really drink coffee at all, so that
Oh, and of course, it's like he's trying to figure out how to upset me as much as possible. He loves candy corn too.
okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I can only have a little bit of candy corn because after that they start tasting really gross. Like you can eat. I can eat about a handful or two before they're no good anymore. They just start tasting funky.
Why do you think that is? That they taste fine in the beginning,
I don't know.
and evidently Jenny claims that she sent you the churro place.
Oh, did she?
No, she sent it to me, and I sent it to you.
Oh, okay. So I got it via Mark. I got it from Jenny via Mark.
Yes, yes.
Oh, and then actually, I just finished the first one, so that was quick. They're really delicious, and so there's also there's four flavors. Unfortunately, my younger brother got into my others, and so there's.
Do you have an older brother as well?
No, I mean, well, I have two younger brothers. Technically, we already talked about that, but that's from through marriage. And he doesn't live here. So there's in the peach, simply spiked peach. There is a regular peach. There is a strawberry peach. Is it strawberry or watermelon peach? I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. It's like either strawberry or watermelon. And then there's this. There's the mango peach, and there's also a kiwi peach.
Interesting. So kiwi lemonade sounds good, but I don't know about kiwi mango.
Yeah. So I had all four flavors. I was trying to save. That's why I was trying to save them for the show, but my brother got into them. I'll cut him some slack because on what was it Saturday, I get a call from my mom while I'm at work, and she's like, "Your brother's been in an accident." And I'm like, what?
Oh, you're waiting to hear he's dead, huh?
No, I was like, I just heard accident, and I was just like, because I thought I might have to leave work because he might need, but luckily I called him. I was able to walk off and make a phone call, so I called him, and he's fine. His car is done. He got hit by a guy running a red light. So yeah, it's just been a lot going on, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna let that slide. I'm gonna let that slide. But yeah,
Matt wants to sing to you the Peaches song from Super Mario Brothers.
peaches, 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 peaches.
See, I would have gone with millions
Millions of peaches. That's what peaches come from a can.
See, and here we go. According to Tyrus, mangoes are disgusting. I'm sure Tyrus doesn't like watermelon.
What is? Oh my! How? Okay, you know what? I can't even. I can't even right now.
Yeah, you got to remember, this is the guy that ordered a steak at a clam shop and complained about it.
That's true. Yeah, he did. Actually, the kiwi one. This one tastes better than the first one I had. I don't know.
Is the Kiwi subtle? Is it overwhelming?
It's a lot. I
Okay,
mean, it's definitely like, hey, we're Kiwi. We're gonna take
fair,
over this thing.
fair enough. So we got some stuff to talk about tonight, and I think now's as good a time as any. What do you think?
Let's jump into it, man.
All right, first up, what in the blue hell is this?
You know what this reminds me of?
Blitz
No, actually reminds me of
Street.
Street.
Okay, I figured you were going to say one of those two.
Yeah.
I get what you mean when you say it could remind you of Street.
I mean, it definitely has Blitz vibes too, but except it's just a lot more. Did they ever put Blitz out on? Oh, dude, did one of us freeze? Oh no.
No, I'm
Oh,
here.
okay. Did they put Blitz on a system?
Yeah, Blitz was on N64, I believe.
Okay, yeah, no, that's why I didn't play it, but no, because like I don't remember Blitz having some of the stuff that they have in this game, like the things moving around that look like you get picked up by UFOs and stuff. It looked
Yeah,
like
there wasn't to that extent, nor was
where
there in Street. So that's
where you become giant.
yeah. This well, and like I don't know, as you can see front and center, the poster child of this game appears to be Colin Kaepernick with
Cap.
with his big fro, which I don't understand. You're not even a player. Like how because it's officially licensed through the NFL Players Association,
Oh.
which he's not a player. So
It looks like everybody else is. It looks like are those like that looks like Mahomes like over his me looking at it over his right shoulder,
mhm.
and then like some of these guys look like current players. Some of
Yeah,
them
yeah, they it's supposed to be like actual current players. I don't think. I mean, the impression I got from the trailer was that
it looks like is it like you build a team?
that's the other thing I'm not sure of. Like, are these the only actual licensed characters in the game, or
No, I'm sure there's probably more, but I'm just saying like I think these just might be because it feels like some of these guys might be retired already. I'm looking at it and I'm like, are you still playing? Like the only one, like I said, Mahomes is the only one that I can really kind of make out. But yeah, I mean, if here's the thing, if it's free, I'll play it. If it's not, probably won't.
I don't think it's going to be free.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Like I want him to come out with another NFL Street because that was the closest thing that I had to NBA jams for the NFL.
Yeah, I loved Street. There were two versions, two editions. There was Street, and then later they came out with Street 2.
Oh, did they come out with Street 2?
They did.
Yeah, I only
And
played the first one then.
and I enjoyed them both.
Yeah, I thought those were awesome. Like
And according to Tyrus, who's a former NFL player, I guess, if you still pay your union dues, you can still be represented, whether you are active or not.
oh, all right, cool.
Something tells me Colin would be the type to not pay his union dues.
I don't know. He might be because I mean he was trying to get back in. So I mean
Maybe
he had some tryouts and stuff a couple years ago. I don't remember how that panned.
that was just his last year.
Yeah.
So obviously it didn't pan out well because he wasn't playing.
No, that's true. I think wasn't he playing in Canada or something?
Who cares?
Hmm.
So really quickly, we're going to talk about. Well, primarily, I'm going to talk about something that just came out this last week. So, with that being said, so James is stepping away for a couple of minutes while I talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny because shame on him, he still hasn't seen it yet. And I gave him ample opportunity. I told him, I'm watching it before the next show. You need to watch it because I want to talk about it. So I don't know why he sucks so hard. But conversely, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny did not suck so hard. So Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny came out last Thursday. Technically, according to what they released it as, is Friday, but it was in theaters Thursday. My wife and I, we went and saw it Sunday Sunday afternoon. So luckily, I was able to avoid most of the spoilers and things of that nature. Unfortunately, a friend did send me a couple of things, and I was like, "Why? Why would you do that?" So, for all of you out there, hopefully you've had enough ample time to decide if you want to hear these spoilers or not. Because here we go. So the film, and right away, Matt loved it. That's good to hear because I definitely enjoyed it, and we'll talk about why that is in a little bit. So the film opens up and starts back in and around the end of World War II. We see the Nazis are ransacking a building, a castle, if you will, and Indiana Jones is reintroduced as young Indy from back during that time. The one thing that I will say that was pretty frustrating was the CGI that they did on de aging. With all the deep fake stuff that is out there and available, that technology, I think they could have done a much better job here. It looked like his face was animated rather than like natural. So that was a little annoying. Where some of the other characters who they de-aged as well, it wasn't as it didn't stand out as much. So it was nice to see young Indy, obviously, even though it's not real, and the voice also didn't match. They didn't de-age his voice, so that was a little weird. Right away, we get introduced to our villain character, who we don't know what his motivation is. They're looking for this spear that was used to stab Jesus Christ in the side. It's some people call it the spear of destiny. uh, and they believe they found it, and this gentleman is supposed to be there to confirm it. Uh, Ultimately, it's not until very late in the film that we find out eventually what his true motivations are. But he is definitely interested in another contraption, which the title of the film, Dial of Destiny, um, a item that was created by ancient Greek people. And I'm not gonna give everything away in this, but I'm also not gonna be afraid to give stuff away. Tyra says they did great with Mark Hamill. I'm a little disappointed if the CGI isn't on point. I don't agree. I don't agree that if you remember the finale of season 2 of Mandalorian, Mark Hamill's CGI they did there did not look great. I will say in season 3 they definitely adjusted and corrected, and it was much better. Um, but the first time they brought out young Luke was not the business. So we have some good old fashioned indie business with them escaping from the castle and jumping onto a train and fighting a bunch of Nazis and having a brawl out on top of the train, which of course eventually Indy wins, gets his gear, gets his hat. Um, and I mean, even there, you can kind of see that his face it it looks like young Indy, but it doesn't look right with everything else in the scene. So then we fast forward to 1969, where old Indy now. It's Moon Day, so this is in I believe it's New York City, where they're having a parade for the guys who landed on the moon, and they're going down and you know getting to have a some nice festivities. And it's also the same day that Indiana Jones is retiring from teaching. We've also found out that his wife, Marion, has they are no longer together, and she has filed for a divorce, or a separate legal separation. Ultimately, we get to have some more good old fashioned indie fun chase scene where these gentlemen who work for our villain uh, are trying to capture him and the, as we'll come to find out, heroine of the film. And Indy eventually gets on a horse and is riding a horse down the streets of New York, down to the subway, and of narrowly missing getting hit by subway cars. Uh, this seems to happen a lot in films, and I don't understand why. I enjoy a good chase scene, but I feel like One of the things this film did a little bit too much was too many. I think we had four in total, where maybe we could have gotten away with two, and that might have made it a little bit tighter. This had an extremely long runtime of 2 hours and 22 minutes, longest Indiana Jones film uh, to date. Because they say there won't be another, but you never know. Uh, Indy with a whip, and Indy brought a whip to a gunfight. He's trying to break up a sale of an auction at an auction where a piece was stolen from him, and he uses the whip to try and stop the auction. Except everybody else has guns. Antonio Banderas, in the credits of this film, came third. He had the third top billing, and yet he was only in the film for all of about 10 minutes. Very weird. Uh, Good job, small role, worked with it. He's a talented actor, no doubt, but it just felt kind of wasted. Classic indie pose, staring off into the distant. So here's our heroine. Can't remember her name, but she is Indy's goddaughter, and her father was in the film earlier with Indy back in the Nazi times, and was one of the people that was helping Indy find the pieces to the dial of destiny, if you will. And now she is now in league with Indy because they want to finish this. Her nickname was Wombat, so at least we got that. Thank you, Jenny. Um, so now they're in, Syracuse and not New York. Syracuse off of Greece, and this was actually the first image that was released while they were doing the principal filming of this movie. And seeing this scene finally play out, it was like, okay, I see where they got that image from. Um, so that kind of called back. And we see a giant boulder here, which, of course, Indy has had his past with the boulders. The one thing that I'm going to ultimately say about this film is that for me, it was very much harkening back, calling back to Indy of old. We had that piece of garbage, in my opinion, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it was terrible. It was bad, and this really fixed a lot of my feelings about Indiana Jones. I've told a couple people that before this film came out, my order would have been Last Crusade is my favorite, Raiders is my second favorite, Temple of Doom third, and King of the Crystal Skull is, yeah, because I have to. It's last, but I wish I could just not include it. Now with this film coming out, I have to say my order has shifted, and I think this even beats out Temple of Doom. So I think that this film solidly takes the three spot. Uh, and it's nice because, like I said, there are those indie one-liners, those little jokes. And one of the things that aren't in any of these images is there is a kid, a young man, who is involved in the global escapades, if you will, and he is not annoying. I mean, he's not great. Uh, from a talent perspective, he's meh, uh, but at least he's not annoying. So that's nice. I was worried we were going to have another short round incident, and luckily that was not the case. But I ultimately feel like this film is worth seeing in the theaters, in the cinema. If you can't, it'll be on Disney Plus eventually. But I would say spend the 10, 12 bucks, whatever, and go see this in the theater. It's the last chance. They made it very clear that Indy is done. People have asked, does Indy die in the end? I will flatly say, no. Indiana did not die in the end of that film. You thought he might. It was getting close, but he did not. The only big negative that I have to say really about this film is if you don't know what the Dial of Destiny is, it was a supposed time machine created by Archimedes, you know, back in the BC times. and they ultimately are able to find all the pieces, get it put together, and utilize the dial of destiny to travel through time. And while that part I can accept, we've had Indiana Jones where you have the Ark of the Covenant, right, with supposedly the Ten Commandments in it, and all of the chaos that ensues when that thing opens. You've had the Last Crusade with the Cup of Christ, so I'm okay with the time traveling and it actually working and things like that. My problem with the time traveling was that they spent way too much time in the time period that they went to. I felt like, you know, maybe 5 minutes of that could have been really worth it and uh, bring them back. But ultimately, a very fit ending, appropriate ending to the Indiana Jones saga, if you will. And they left the door open for future films set in this universe, if you will. But I think Indiana Jones, or Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones, is done, um, and rightfully so. I would have been fine with it having ended after three, because they did four. I felt like that doing this makes the overall series that much better. Uh, Matt Murray would have liked an end credit scene. I could have taken one, but I don't feel like it was necessary. I feel like the ending was fit and appropriate. Seeing Solo one last time, um, seeing Marion come back to Indy. I think all of that kind of made it worthwhile. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this portion so that I can bring James back in, and there he is. You feel better?
Yeah. So okay, so I see there. So I don't have to stay through the credits. Okay, cool.
I mean, you should out of respect for the filmmakers,
I
but
do. That's the only reason I end up staying. But I might have to because there's actually a show at 10:10 tonight, so I could go see it tonight.
and are you going to?
Uh, I feel like I have to now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So what were you doing while I was doing that?
I just had you. I turned down my volume so I couldn't hear anything, and I was eating my gummies and drinking my drink. And I think that's almost. Oh, actually, no. I still got a little bit of drink left, so we're good.
All right. So while I did all of that talking, I think it's time for you to do some talking on our next topic, and I'll be here in support. But you know,
Oh yeah, Secret Invasion has started, people. Yo. Okay. So.
started. We're 3 weeks in, man.
Well, I know. I mean, but
We're
we only.
halfway through.
Yeah, we're already halfway through. I made the mistake of watching this show when I was tired, and I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be action. Nah, it's. I mean, there is some action. Don't get me wrong, but this is more of that intrigue, that
Psychological,
that yeah, that get in your head type show, which is cool because I mean it's Nick Fury,
like
and
Andor.
yeah, so it's a lot like Andor in that sense. And so I wasn't really prepared for that, so that's probably one of the reasons. But like episode one, uh, threw me a little bit from the start because I was like, we saw the what's his name?
Colonizer.
Yeah, we saw Colonizer, and I was like, oh, okay. And then it turned out not to be him, and I'm like, what's going on here? And so, yeah, and my man Nick Fury shows back up. He's been in space. Uh, so he's, so yeah, that was, and so I mean, everything started off kind of cool. We have so far we've had some flashbacks to 97, when the kind of right after the events of Captain Marvel. So if you're not caught up on that end, make sure you catch up with that. Um, and yeah, we get good old Agent Hill, she's back. She's for a little bit. I'm I I I'm confused because when I saw the behind the scenes thing, it seemed like she was in a lot more, and so far, not so good. So I mean, she might come back. Uh, no, but and then like this relationship between that you have this relationship between Fury and then the Skrull, and then you have Thrawn, and you have what's his
Ron,
no, not Thrawn, what is
Talos,
Talus, and then you have and then the other dude,
black guy.
yeah, who I mean, like I don't know who that guy is because I've never seen him before, but that's something that Marvel does very well. Is it takes no like actors who have probably been around who haven't had a spotlight flashed, really on them, and shines a light on these guys, and he is uh he as a villain he's a pretty good villain, I must say. And it's not really that he's a villain. He's I-
Yeah, he's not a villain in as so much as Thanos wasn't a villain.
right. Well, that's the thing. It's like he's like he is technically a villain, but when but it's his it's because the ideals that he has don't they are not for everyone. They are for his people. So in a way, I see it like okay, and then like Thanos, he was more about. I mean, yes, he was technically a villain, but he was trying to. Um, his whole thing was get rid of half the people. Therefore, there's resources for everyone. Type thing. So in this way, yes, he's the villain, but you kind of understand like where his head's at. He's doing it for his people. The supporting cast is quite interesting. Is she in Harry Potter?
I don't know.
Because
She seems familiar.
yeah, she seems very familiar. Like I look at her, especially with this with this needle in her hand, and for some reason I feel like she was in Harry Potter. Uh, but yeah, seeing Emily, not Emily, is it Emily or Emily? Yeah, Emily Clark in a different role with the short hair. I dig it. I mean, I was even when I saw her as Daenerys in Game of Thrones, I was like, yeah, she's hot. Um, but yeah, no, she's very good in this show. Kind of trying to play both sides of everything. So you kind of trying to figure out where does everything lie with her. Um, but yeah, so far, so I mean, like literally, we only have 3 more weeks left of this show. So
My
um,
favorite scene so far.
this one,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was pretty good. I'm very interested to see. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping this. There's something that from this. I'm thinking that has to lead into Iron Wars,
Armor Wars?
Armor Wars, not, Army Wars. Did I say Army Wars? I meant Iron Wars. I meant yeah, Armor Wars. That's what I'm hoping this something leads into that. But I've been very excited to see Don Cheadle back. And actually, which I should have known better, but this is the same episode where I didn't realize Nick Fury was married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only is he married, but he's married to a Cree.
Yeah, which also threw me because I didn't actually. I don't. Now I might have looked. That's the thing. I might have looked away for a second. And during when he was walking up to the door type deal, but I know like when I saw the replay when I was watching the episode today, when I saw the replay, I saw that she was Cree, and then all of a sudden changed back, and I was like, wait, or she changed into her human form, and I was like, wait, hold up, I don't remember that, but like I said, I could have just looked away for a second, and that's split scene. Could have missed it, but
which knowing you wouldn't be that surprising.
yeah,
So, storyline perspective, I think this show has done an extremely good job of keeping me interested because I was concerned because they didn't really give a whole lot away. Um,
that was on purpose.
yeah, but like, and they did the same thing they do sometimes where they almost misrepresented what the show was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but it definitely kind of like Andor. I was concerned about how it was going to actually go and what it was going to actually be, and I loved Andor.
Yeah,
So similarly here, just there is obviously some action. It is Marvel, you've got to have it, but
right.
it's not Falcon and Winter Soldier action where it's
No,
like every episode has 3 fight scenes or something.
yeah, no. This is definitely, like I said, it's the intrigue. It's the in this nature, it's really that spy versus spy um, that Nick Fury has been in since, and it gives us more of that insight into Nick Fury a little bit because we know Nick Fury from all the Marvel films, but we don't know Nick Fury.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's nice to get a little bit more in depth with the character. I think so. So just without giving everything away, Nick Fury back in the '90s made a deal with the Kree. Hey, come help me out here on Earth. I'll help find you guys a home at some point.
Right.
Fast forward to 2024, 25, whatever year it is in MCU at this point. Um, and Nick still hasn't found them a home.
And
And
that was also supposed to be with the help of Captain Marvel. So
and so that's created division amongst the Kree, which come to find out there's about 1 million of them on the planet.
yeah.
And,
Are you out of your reptilian mind?
some of them are very disgruntled because they thought they were going to help Nick Fury and Shield and whatnot, and would eventually be able to get their own place, and that hasn't happened.
Well, there also shouldn't be that many on the planet, but you know what you
Yeah.
gonna do.
So
Yeah. So it's become basically like you were supposed to help us. We kept up our end of the deal. You haven't kept up your end of the deal. Now we aren't happy.
yeah, and so now there's a splintered faction of people who want to wipe out the human race and take over Earth to be their new planet.
Yeah.
So it's not shaping up pretty good for the humans. We'll see what happens, but
At least they did something to this past episode to uh, hopefully help.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But talking about superheroes and stuff like that, Captain Fearless and the time traveling Nazis.
Captain Fearless and the time traveling Nazis of Doom.
It had its air dates on KNBC and is now fully available to listen to on all all podcasting platforms. So
Get it.
if you haven't had the chance yet, it is split into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2.
Oh,
Uh,
in the audio version.
yeah,
Okay.
so go give those a listen. It's a fun one. It's a bit of a comedy. It was fun to work on. I'm glad it's out there, and I'm proud of the work that was done by the talented individuals involved. Speaking of talented individuals, Rogers the Musical at the Hyperion Theater.
Yeah.
So I posted in the last couple of days. They did some media previews, if you will, where people straight up set up like 4K cameras to get different angles and everything, and so it's been getting released left and right with the full show that comes in at around 36 minutes. Have you watched it?
I started to, and I was just like, I I don't. I mean, even when I saw like the media stuff that they had from like the back, seeing all the backstage and kind of things, which I mean that actually was kind of cool. Just how I mean the Hyperion is just a crazy theater in general, just from the way it's set up and how you don't have. I mean, you have stagehands, of course, but there's little that they have to do due to the fact that everything's automated in that place, and that's, I mean, because it needs to be. But um, just from that, I was kind of like, I'm only really interested in this show from a technical standpoint. I don't. There was something about the singing, the acting that just was kind of cringy.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I thought it was a fun. I watched the whole thing, and I thought it was a fun story. I thought it was, and the reason that you need to watch it is because it gives you after Endgame
Oh, okay. Okay.
what happened with Steve.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, then I will. I mean, like I said, I know I'll watch it, and it was just one of those things when I started watching it, and like just the Starkettes or whatever at the beginning, I was just kind of like, ugh.
Oh, it's basically the urchins from Little Shop.
Yeah, I know, I get that, but I was just like, ugh. There's something about the voices, just the acting choices that were made, um, that were
Well, Disney is more concerned about making sure that they are inclusive rather than giving the best the opportunities.
not really. I wasn't really worried about that. I'm not worried. I don't care
I,
what they.
I know you're not worried about that, but Disney is. That's why we have a female Ant Man. We've got, Black Hulk. We've got Asian Hawkeye. We've got, Hispanic Iron Man. Because you got to check the boxes, bro.
I didn't even really notice that until right now. But like what I'm saying is just like I'm saying as far as like just from the beginning, just some of the it wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for me. But I will get through it. I will sit and watch it
Yeah, like I said, I think you have to just for the pieces after.
after. That makes sense.
Yeah. Staying in line with superhero vibes. Superpowered, the DC story. This is a documentary about DC, its superheroes, how it came to be. For anybody who doesn't know, for some reason, DC was the first original, superhero house of comics, if you will.
Yeah.
And you
Like
know,
these characters appeared in different episodes before they got their own comic books.
this is true. You had Detective Comics with
Detective,
Batman,
yeah, and then what was the one Superman was in? Action. It was like
Action Comics.
Action Comics. Yeah.
Yep. So I watched this trailer, and I'm a huge DC fan of the comic books, especially going back to the old stuff, the you know 30s, 40s, 50s. I love the old comics, um, and so I love hearing from. But unfortunately, the people who worked on those, they're not around anymore.
Right.
So now you're stuck with listening to people that have written stuff in the last, 20 to 30, maybe 40 years. And while their perspective is relevant, um, I think what really put me off is how even in this documentary trailer, they started talking about again. DC has shifted with the times to update for the 21st century to become more of an inclusive comic brand and make sure that we have representation. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Cool. Yeah. No, I mean, for me, it's just been like, and the one thing. Don't get me wrong. I like Batman. I think pretty much everybody likes Batman. Um, that's why there's
I
so
bet
many.
Tyrus doesn't.
Yeah, he probably doesn't. Um, but like the other superheroes for me have always been one of the only reasons that I really was drawn to Marvel, and not DC. And speaking of which, I need to finally watch the Stanley. I saw that the Stanley documentary's out. I need to watch that. But the one thing that drew me to Marvel more than DC was just that, like, Marvel has flawed heroes. Marvel has flawed heroes, whereas in DC, in most of DC, and Batman's the only one that kind of is out of that loop. But in DC, good is good, bad is bad. In Marvel, good is also sometimes bad. bad is sometimes most less, but sometimes good.
Well, yeah, and DC for a very long time had a rule that superheroes don't kill. Period.
Yeah.
And so, that was again one of the big differences between DC and Marvel. In Marvel, superheroes or the good guys, they kill if necessary,
Right.
and there was never any qualms with that. They never made any bones about it. And Matt's asking if we saw the Flash film. I did. Did you finally see it?
No.
Of course not. I didn't feel like doing a big hullabaloo for the Flash because I don't feel like it deserved it. But I will say, it probably is number one or number two DC film. If we're talking about everything after the Kevin Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, um, then yeah, I would say the Flash was probably number one or number two. But that's not really saying much,
Yeah.
frankly, because and really the only reason it's number one or number two is because of the fanboy aspect, the nostalgia aspect.
Right.
Otherwise,
It's
I don't know if it'd be anywhere close to that.
yeah, and that's the only reason like I said, Michael Keaton is the only reason I really want to see that movie.
Yeah, and even then, I don't know. It was cool, but I don't know if that alone makes it worth it. There is a scene. There is one scene, and I'm not going to give it away, but there is one scene in that film that really needs to be seen in the theater, and that's why I would say you should go see it. Is purely for that. Wait until it goes to like the cheap theater.
Well, see, that's something I don't know where the cheap theater is out here.
Okay, then go for like a matinee. Go for like
Yeah.
showing of the day when it's the cheapest,
Yeah.
and just because
I'll just pay for it. I won't use one of my tickets for it.
yeah, there's one scene that makes it worth seeing in the theater.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, actually, to go back real quick, with Indiana Jones, is this one that you actually have to know the previous stories, or can you go into this one without have seen the other movies?
one, why would you go see this without having seen the others?
I'm just saying, like, if somebody for some reason like hadn't seen the other films, like, I mean, seeing as they're all available on Disney Plus, but
Yeah, I would not suggest going to see this without having seen the others, only because there are so many callbacks to other events
okay,
throughout the film. It's not like it would ruin the film, but I feel like it enhances the film knowing the
right,
the
okay.
background.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, if you think about it, if you like, because I was just thinking about like some of the minus the Daniel Craig James Bonds, that actually were pretty much all connected.
Interconnected, yeah.
Like, I think you could see, you can watch whatever James Bond film and prior to that and be like, okay, you don't actually have to know, you don't actually have to have seen the other ones.
Yeah, and Jenny says she hadn't seen the other indie films in 10 years and she was fine.
But didn't you? But you knew them, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, and for me, I had watched every day up, of last week leading
yeah, I
up to
remember
going
you
to see it.
talked. You said you'd watched all of them
I
again.
watched all four again, and I will tell you, I have a lot more respect for Temple of Doom in my old age. Uh,
Yeah,
I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I remembered enjoying it when I was younger.
telling you,
It
like,
still would be number three,
I'm just saying, like,
and
Temple of
maybe
Doom
even
is
number four now because I don't know. I still haven't decided, but Dial of Destiny, it's good. It's it is not it's not amazing. It is not.
is it a good main thing? Is it a good way to end the series?
Yes,
Okay, that's
yes,
all I was concerned about. If that's, I mean, because they said this is going to be the last one, so if this is the way to you're going to end the series, I'm okay with that.
yes,
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
yeah. So I need you to watch the film tonight, and then after watch what I said earlier, and
Okay,
yeah, don't call me tonight because I'll be asleep.
I
But
know you will.
we'll talk tomorrow because I definitely want to get your feedback.
Yeah.
So a stop motion animation, not animation, stop motion film came out by Disney and Pixar. Cars on the Road. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I mean,
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, it's cute, but I don't know if it. I just kind of miss the voices. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like somebody had all the toys at home and he was like, "Hey, let me bring them in and let's do something fun with it."
listen, they didn't have them at home. They have those in the office.
Because clearly, to make, I used to love like Wallace and Gromit. That was claymation, right?
Yeah,
And I know that with that series, to make you know
it takes like 24 hours to make. Like it takes hours to make one like
one
30-second seat of
yeah. Where in
of
this case, they're not claymation. They weren't moving,
yeah.
so you just had to move the pieces. So I'm sure this was filmed a little bit faster,
Hmm.
and it's a decent length at 4.5 minutes or
Yeah,
so.
and so my main thing is I just feel like I really just miss the voices, seeing the having Mater's little voice thing was kind of like ugh. And don't get me wrong, I like Larry the Cable Guy, but and I like him as Mater, but like just having a little snippet of his sound was kind of like meh. So I don't know, like it was cute, like you said, but I think it was yeah, I don't know.
It was just nice as a fan of the Cars series to get something and it be new, unique. Not It's not like they were rehashing one of the films or something like that.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I mean, like on the road, I never finished watching the series, but it was, the first, couple episodes that I watched were interesting stories. So
Lang Lang
this,
plays Disney.
this is something I'm very interested in.
Yeah, I
Watching the
so
trailer for this was like, yo,
yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Lang Lang is an amazing pianist. Like
pianist.
for me, like the I'll tell you some of the vibes I got from this because one of my favorite musical events, if you will, of all time was Yanni live at the Acropolis. I just felt like it. I don't know if you ever actually listened to Yanni's stuff,
Not really, but
but like
I know who Yanni is.
he's pretty legit, and his music's quite enjoyable. And like on the being in the Acropolis in Greece, with that setting, with a full orchestra, with a couple of vocalists and stuff, it was amazing, and that's kind of the vibes I was getting from this.
Yeah.
And it's Disney.
Oh yeah, no, that's what the main thing. Like I heard some of the stuff that he was playing, and I was like, oh man,
Yeah. So I am absolutely
when
juiced.
is this supposed to air?
It didn't have a date, so
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm juiced, bro.
but yes, I am personally juiced for this one.
Yeah, I saw that when I watched that trailer for it. I was like, I didn't really know who Lang Lang was, but I was like, I like Lang Lang playing
Yeah,
Disney music.
yeah. The Beanie Bubble. So this is a film coming out to Apple Plus,
Yep.
and it's about the creation of the corporation Thai Beanie Babies and how they came into existence and
And
blew up.
blew up.
To me, this is interesting because we lived through that. Like, I don't know about you, but I had a slight collection.
I never. I
And
mean, it wasn't one of those things that I got into. I knew about them, and so there was a part of me that was like, man, like when I heard about some of the money some of them can make, I was like, yo, I need to get in
so
on that.
so
But
that's why my collection was purely for the money.
yeah,
And then I had left them at my parents' house when I moved across country, and evidently they sold them or something.
oh.
So I reaped none of the benefits. But yeah, this looks interesting. Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah,
Uh,
without the beard.
yeah, I was watching this trailer,
I was
and
like, who is that?
yeah, I was like, I know that voice, kinda. He looks familiar, and then yeah, confirmed Zach Galifianakis, and so I was like, okay,
Yeah, and it looks like there's some shadiness that went on with in that family. So
for sure. So I don't have Apple Plus. If I did, I definitely would be watching this.
if somebody has Apple Plus and you want to, help us out.
Yes.
Hook it up.
All right. So I don't know where this came from, but it seems like in the last 5 years or something, this Five Nights at Freddy's has just like taken over. I see their toys at toy stores.
Yeah, I've seen the
Is,
T-shirts, and I'm
is
like,
this a
yo,
is this a video game
yeah,
originally or
that's what. For some reason, I kept thinking it was. I kept every time I saw it. For some reason, it reminded me of Bioshock,
yeah.
which
So
I
I
never actually played, but like like I've seen some of the scenes and stuff from it, and I'm like, yo, is this from Bioshock? Like that's the only thing I could think of.
yeah, I have no idea where this ever came from, but the premise of this film is a
It's a
place.
haunted Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, it's a haunted Chuck E. Cheese, except it's called Freddy Fazbear's.
Yeah.
And, a guy has been hired to run security on this shut down abandoned building for some reason.
Right.
And he has to work inside of the building for some reason. Oh, and his daughter, he needs to bring her to work with him because he can't find a sitter or leave her at home.
Yeah.
And
Semi good parenting, except the place is crazy. So
yes, and evidently the animatronics, the creepy Chuck E. Cheese band, if you will,
yeah,
comes to life.
yeah, and steals the souls of children.
So again, I've never heard of this before. I
Well, Matt says it's an original game. It's originally a game, and I understand that, but for some reason, yes, and this also kind of does look stupid, but I don't know. I'm not a horror fan. Like, there's some people. I'm sure this movie they wouldn't have made this movie unless they think it could make money.
yeah, agreed. And James, you're looking a little chilly over there. You know what I think you need? A hoodie.
Scan the QR code. Get your own Fat and Black hoodie. Fat
I
and Black
feel
Connection hoodie.
I feel like you could use a hoodie.
Oh, I like that. Do that again. A little.
I don't even know how I did it.
Oh.
I think it just happens on its own.
Oh. I was like, well, leave it up for a second. Does it do it again?
I don't know.
Put it away and bring it back.
Okay. Oh, I was about
Oh,
to do
he's
it.
about to do it, huh?
Here we go. Let's try one more time.
Oh, look at that shine across. I like
So
that.
it does the little twinkle across, and then hold on, it's about to go wild. Oh,
Oh, there it is. Bring. Ding, ding,
oh,
ding, ding.
look at that.
Hey.
Uh, can I move it? No, I can't.
No.
Okay. Oh, us and toys. All right. So, speaking of weird movies, The Chosen One.
Is this a TV series or is it a?
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a series.
Yeah, because it kind of reminds me of. There's a part of it. Well, they didn't really give anything away in this at all, but for the teaser. But I was feeling Raising Dion vibes, except a little bit different, of course.
Yeah. So the basic premise is, I guess, this kid in modern day has Jesus's powers.
What would you do? He brings that whole what would Jesus do to a whole new WWJD,
Yeah.
to a whole new level.
Yeah. I watched this trailer and I was like, this is so like sacrilege. Like you would never see this. You would never see Netflix make a film about like Muhammad. Oh, it's the reincarnation of Muhammad. He's back. And like they wouldn't do it, right? Oh, it's Krishna. Like, but when it comes to like Jesus or Christianity, yeah, let's take jabs at him. Who cares?
I don't even know if it's taking jabs. I think that I have to because, like I said, the teaser doesn't do anything for me. But I, I don't know. Maybe they said it's based on. They said it's based on like a comic. It's like a comics series.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well, how about a film based on a book?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the first one did. I knew they were. Is this gonna be? Is this the end of this, or is there gonna be a third one? Because I don't remember. I remember hearing at least two parts, but I don't remember if they said anything about a third.
So, of course, what James is referring to is Dune Part 2 that is coming out soon.
Yeah.
So, Dune is one book
Right.
that they split into two films.
Okay.
yeah. So evidently everything will be played out in this next film that hasn't already been played out.
Right.
Um, I I will say, thinking about the book, yes, there's a lot more action, a lot more intensity in the second half of the book. The first movie I had a hard time staying awake through because
Hmm.
it's yeah. And yes, Matt, Christopher Walken is in the second film. He's in the trailer as well, so go give that a watch. Um, but I'm gonna watch it just because I already watched the first one
Yeah.
and I enjoyed the book when I was younger. But
Zendaya.
that's why you're gonna watch.
I absolutely I honestly like I didn't know who she was until I saw like she first started on Disney Channel and I was like, all right. And then like when she moved over into Spider-Man, I was like, okay. And now she's just been doing all sorts of things, and I'm like, all right, you're pretty talented chick. Okay, I dig it.
Do you really think she's talented, or do you find her attractive?
No, I think she's actually very talented. I mean, like if you just look at the some of the stuff that she's done, from like Euphoria to these films, it's like she's
And
very.
you've watched Euphoria?
I've watched like a few episodes of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but like yeah, I watched, like I said, watched a few episodes of that, seen some of the other stuff that she's been in. There's a movie that they did during COVID that I want to see, and I can't remember the name of it. It's like they shot it in black and white, and it's very intense, like just two people for the most part. But and I heard it got some acclaim at film festivals and stuff like that. So I mean, she's very versatile, I think.
Fair enough. Speaking of versatility, obviously, this next thing we're going to talk about must be considered one of the most versatile shows of all time, and
This thing has died and come back and died and come back,
four times.
and it's not Family Guy. It's the precursor to Family Guy.
Futurama.
Futurama.
This show is finally coming back in just a few weeks, July 24th. We got our first trailer, quote unquote. Um, and again, this show has been canceled and brought back four times. I never understand why it gets canceled because I think it's a great show. I feel like this show could have lasted as long as, you know,
The Simpsons.
yeah, or as long as Family Guy, or as long as Bob's Burgers. Like, I
Actually, I was surprised Bob Burgers is going as long as it has. In all honesty.
well, yeah, because in Bob's Burgers, you can only do so much in a restaurant, in that one restaurant, or at the kids' school. Where in Futurama, you have the entire world in play, plus many other worlds that you
Yeah.
can go to. So there's always something, and I feel like I don't know. I loved Futurama. Its first go round in the late '90s. I enjoyed it every time it's come back in some form or fashion. Um, so I am very well, for lack of a better descriptor.
I'm juiced, bro. I'm glad it stuck around.
Yeah, I just hope it sticks. I hope that they get more than like one or two seasons out of it, and it's all of the original cast, voice
Yeah. Oh, I
actors
like it. We're back again.
again.
Again. I didn't see that the first time I looked at
Yeah.
it. It's funny.
So
Yeah, that's the one thing I think I was impressed by. I was like, oh, it's the original cast. That's cool. That's really cool.
how was your Fourth of July?
It wasn't. I was at work, so it was cool. I mean, it was okay. I mean, like I didn't see any fireworks or anything, unfortunately. But I actually yesterday I was able to ask. I finally excited uh Monday night. I meant to ask a pilot about how like fireworks kind of affect if fireworks affect anything. And I finally asked the pilot yesterday when he was about to leave, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I've never because they're not allowed to go off around the airport, so it's never really they a lot lower. But someone like he said a couple years ago." Like I guess somebody had one near the airport and it went off like right behind the plane, and that apparently kind of threw them off a little bit. But
Yeah, because I mean, fireworks generally only shoot up like at most like 250, 300 feet.
yeah, so this was like it was like like right during takeoff. So they were taking off, and somebody nearby had like a mortar or something and went off. Um, which kind of I don't know if it may have just got near the plane and the shock might have triggered something in the plane, the tail end of it or whatever. And but he was like, yeah, I mean, most of the time it's not an issue because like they're not going off near the airport, but every once in a while you have idiots who don't pay that no mind. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And any interesting stories from the airports over the last couple weeks, especially with all the BS with the airlines and
Well, I went. Oh, actually, so the Fatu family from wrestling.
yes.
So I met. Um, so I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Fatu. And I was like, wait, like related to like the wrestling family? And her I'm not sure if it was her daughter or like a niece or something, but she was like, yes, she is, yes, not. And her and the lady that I was talking, she was like, yeah, no, the out of noise, and she knew the out of noise and all that stuff. So like, Samoa, it's not a large island, and so pretty much everybody from on Samoa knows everybody.
Hmm.
And so just that was kind of cool. I mean, I wish I could have actually talked to her a little bit longer, but she had a flight to catch. So I was just like, oh, dope. Like, it's a pleasure to meet you. Like, that's really cool. Like, I love. I was like, I love your family. No, no, I didn't just say that, but I was like, yo, I really a lot of respect for those guys because I know that like all of them in there. So, but yeah, she knew the Fatu. She's a Fatu, and she knew the Ananois, and so she knows. Yeah, so she knows the family, of course. So, but like I said, everybody on Samoa, it's like I said, it's not a big island, and everybody pretty much knows everybody. So it was just kind of cool meeting her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any other fun airport stories?
Um, Not really. I mean, it's just we work late, man. We on that night shift. Um,
What is business like at midnight at the Las Vegas airport?
what business? We literally, I mean, for like we do. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the end of the night. It's pretty much we clean, and once we empty all the garbage. We
I'm sorry, you guys have to empty the garbage. You don't have like janitorial staff and stuff
Well,
like
no,
that.
they take care of the big garbage cans, but we have little garbage cans that when we take have to take waters and stuff like that. We just toss it in these garbage cans, and so at the end of the night, we dump the garbage cans. We dump the little garbage cans into the big dumpsters, and then. But I started taking the big dumps, not the big dumpsters, but the wheelie carts that have the big bags in it, and so I kind of just wheeled, and I started wheeling that around to dump the little garbage cans in, and then just put it away. So we do that at the end of the night, restock gloves and paper towels. And if we need like the alcohol to spray stuff down, we put that out and stuff like that. And it's just really chill. You get like literally at the end of the night, there's like, 10, 5, 10 different conversations going on about different stuff. So,
So around what time would you say is when it really goes ghost town and you start doing that kind of stuff?
um, so our pre-check, so all the other checkpoints are closed by the time like the D checkpoint that I'm at is the only one that's open like all night.
Hmm.
The others are shut down. Um, C C which is the southwest checkpoint, those close down. That closed down around like 9. A B I think closes. I want to say they well like with the exception of the other day when I went to go help them out. I think they're closed around like 10 or so. Um, Oh, actually, that's a lie. Terminal 3 is open pretty late too. I think they're open also all night. But that's our internet. That most of our international flights come from over there. International and Hawaii come from over there. But when we go dead, we probably will have like a trickle of people starting around like 11:45. 11:45 is when our pre-check closes. 11:45 is when our KCM closes, which is for crew to come through. Um, and so yeah, probably around that time, about 11:45 or so is when it's pretty much ghost
And you work until 1:30,
till one.
so you get a good solid hour and a half almost of
Yeah, just
trash duty.
well, no, it's actually that doesn't even take that long. So, but once we get that done, then it's just once we get all that stuff done, once because like there'll be a couple people taking care of trash, a couple people taking care of stocking, and once it's done, then it's just kind of make yourself either make yourself scarce or make yourself busy.
Which do
So
you tend to do?
I've there's been a difference like when recently I've been making myself scarce so I can go read and put notes together for Murphy's, but but before that like I'll just stick around. Sometimes I'll stick around and you know to help out where I can.
Fair enough. Anything else fun, interesting in general in life?
No, I think it's been kind of like it's been chill. We got a pay raise coming, which is cool. I like that. Through pay equity through for TSA, we finally are on the same scale as the rest of the government agencies because we've been around for what going on 21 years now, and finally we're going to be on par with the rest of the government agencies, which we haven't been since our inception.
That's good.
Yeah.
And anything on the female front of interest?
Yeah, there's a couple that I'm interested in, but we gotta kind of see. Well, like I say, a couple. There's literally like two. Um,
That would be
but
a couple.
yeah, so but yeah, no, that you know, trying to. It's just a whole. One of them had. We all have different days off, so it's, it's trying to find that happy medium in between. So
Have you started procuring your needs for Disneyland?
yeah, well, when like definitely when I get this, it's at the end of the month when I get the first big paycheck, that'll should be able to take care of a good portion of that stuff.
Because we are 10 days away from being able to make reservations for the parks.
Okay, yeah, because I know like I have, because I'm trying to work it out because my plan is I'm going to try and attend Brian's wedding.
Oh, okay.
So I'm probably going to buy a ticket home so I can actually see my dad also for a day. And then what I will do is once I leave, and then the next basically go to Brian's wedding. The next morning, I will fly down to. Well, I'm trying to work it out because one of my brother's friends works for Southwest, so he can help me out with that. So to just get down to John Wayne and then get me back um, to here from there. So what I'm thinking is that I'll just fly down in the morning, and then I will, um, check in or whatever, and then meet you guys at the park or something like that. We'll work it out.
And how are you going to provide me my IKEA goods that you procured?
Oh yeah, I'll work that out too. I'll get that all figured out. I, I
Okay.
I totally actually, you know what? I totally forgot about that. Actually, well, maybe if I fly home, go to the wedding, fly home, grab my car, drive down. That would be the only way I could really do that.
That would be intense. But
Yeah.
the wedding is on Saturday, right?
Yeah. So I
So
mean, I
if you just go to the wedding,
yeah.
and you leave, catch a flight out of SFO at, let's say, 5 ish, maybe 6 ish. You're back home by 7:30,
Yeah.
and you could get on the road by, let's say, 8, and you'd be to Disneyland by before midnight, because
Yeah.
it's what, 3.5 hours.
Yeah, about that 4
Yeah, so
ish.
you'd be
Yeah.
to Disneyland before midnight. You could still catch a couple hours of sleep before we go Sunday morning.
That's true too. Well, like I said, yeah, I have to, well, I'll work it out. I'll get it worked out.
All right. Try not to forget some of those aspects, though. That
No, I remembered I had to bring that down, and that's actually why I was kind of disappointed because there was a young lady that I was talking to who lives here, and I was like, and I was hoping that we'd end up working something out, but yeah, she decided to go a different route. So
Oh, and Jenny said, you could just come visit us.
yeah, well, that's also I need to work that out too, but it's just been yeah, the just like my schedule really right now has just been kind of meh due to the fact that I work in the afternoon, so I mean, like I could do like a if I did like a day, yeah. And then I mean, I guess I leave there early enough. I could be back home in time for work or something. But
I mean, if you left, like if you slept in, went to work, and left work and drove straight here, you'd be here, at like 8 in the morning. It would be a long day, but we'd already be up. So,
yeah, like that. If I was gonna come to see you guys, I'm not. I'm probably not driving,
ah,
just because 8 hours in the car. I'm not fond of.
it was
I
more. It was more of the IKEA stuff because you could just
oh, drop it off to you. Yeah, no, I feel that.
drive it up, spend a couple days, drive back.
Yeah, that, we'll see. Because like I just said, I'm not a huge fan of that 8 hour drive. Well, I guess also because the nightmare situation that I had when I was moving down here.
Well, that's different. You had a U-Haul. You had some blowouts.
Yeah, on the same tire, almost 3 times. Actually, same tire twice, and then it almost happened to the other tire. So I'm still trying to figure that whole situation out. But I stopped caring because it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, but yeah, so um, yeah, I gotta work. I'll work. Yeah, I'll get it all worked out. We'll get it all worked out.
All right. Well, if you've got nothing else, then I think we could shut it down. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All righty then. Well, as a reminder, Captain Fearless is now available on all podcasting platforms, and Murphy's Inc. Season 2 coming
It
to
could,
you
you know,
very soon.
very soon. Yeah, I think we should just leave them with the Murphy's theme because we haven't done that in a while.
Bro, I don't have that uploaded and ready to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I thought it was still in there. We moved
No,
it. Oh,
no.
well. I mean, maybe then hit it with the Captain Fearless one more time.
I got rid of that too. Because, we done.
Oh, never mind. Damn. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I
But I
guess
could
we.
leave, I could leave him with this, though.